What's up, humans? Welcome to the Human Music Podcast. I'm Luke Rain. My co-hosts are Tesco and Rip Kinney, and we are all music producers, artists, and producer coaches. This show is where we discuss all things music production and interview amazing creatives about their origins, their process, and whatever else comes up. This week is episode 110, Micaela Kingslight on collaboration and song catching. Micaela Kingslight, also known as Micaela Kingslight, is a singer, songwriter, music teacher, guitar player, multi-instrumentalist, and much more. In this episode, we discuss how she learned to sing harmonies from her opera singer parents at age 3, how Chicken McNuggets launched her recording career, learning jazz to become a better music teacher, finding joy through collaboration, the pitfalls of learning music production, and the difference between writing songs and catching songs. The song of the week that you can hear behind me right now is Micaela Kingslight, My Way Home. Go stream that. It will also be on our Spotify playlist. Links to all that down below, and links to support our sponsors while you're down there, like Dojo TV, where you can get free producer live stream classes from the Producer Dojo Senseis, and we do this podcast live every other week so you can hang out with us in the chat. Tesco's Patreon's another sponsor. Our boy Tesco launched a Patreon. You can get access to his private Discord channel, track feedback, private lessons, and much more. The weekly download as well, where you can learn from our mentor Il Gates and his private weekly group lessons and get access to over 250 more episodes in his archive for just $20 a month. Insane deal. And guest practices, where you can learn from Seth Drake at the Approach Institute. He's the best engineer we know, and your first class over there is free. Visit thehumanmusicpodcast.com to find all our socials and our other streaming services. And let's just get on into this episode with Micaela Kingslight, all right?
Hello, people of Earth. This is Tesco with Rip Kenny and Trap Jesus, and you're listening to the Human Music Podcast. Woo!
Human Music Podcast. I like it. Live and direct. Now let's do some more checks now that I can see the
checks.
waveforms.
Check.
Let me give you a little more volume.
Check.
You might want to turn up just a little bit, Tesco, if that's available, with your quiet, polite Canadian voice.
Okay, it's ASMR hour.
Oh, she.
Oh. I like your wall of guitars over there, or your
oh, thank you.
Little.
I've really
collection.
My addiction.
I like that you stopped blurring out your background, because now it's like, actual guitars.
What? Yeah, like it's not like your room was that dirty. Instruments? I have I only have one guitar in my studio, so I actually can't show it because it's next to his 5. And so I just kind of scoot it out of the way when we record these.
You just edit, you just do layer yourself over the background, but you just Photoshop in a couple.
Good.
I don't have that Photoshop.
Bro, you got real mountains in your crib. How can...
Real mountains!
And a mountain of gear.
Yes.
Yeah. And a mountain of gear, yes.
I like all the red cables. Like, those are
sick. I don't want to sound corny, but I bought cables that were basically like colors that I use with the brand. It's really dumb, but I just ended up doing that.
No, that's pretty rad.
You got to pick cables anyways. They might as well be on
reds
brand.
And purples and oranges and black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it'd be lamer if it was off brand. You got to look at it like that.
Just all lime green.
Go Seahawks.
Oh yeah, that could be interesting, but I don't know.
So what's up, humans? Welcome to the Human Music Podcast.
No, you do the
Is this the official start? Hold up.
Do
How's
the
this
intro
input
again? You can't.
How's the input?
Tease us like that.
Yeah, we're all looking good.
I mean, honestly, we're 100 plus episodes deep. I feel like we could do whatever we want.
Actually, that would be pretty funny to start with me saying, do the intro again.
I was going to start with 2 minutes ago.
All right, we're
of
live.
us talking about patch cables and guitars and shit.
No, I mean, I'm all for it.
Yes.
These are real moments.
I'd love for that to be in the podcast.
I mean, It very well might be.
Everybody knows now the cables are on
Humans
brand.
in the future listening to this,
I
you
have
will
no
know
doubts.
whether or not this part right here is in the podcast, or
Damn
whether
it.
or not we start with. What's up, humans, and welcome back to the Human Music Podcast, where we do very professional, concise intros. Only.
Exclusive.
Ever.
Oh.
Never tangents. Not once. Always so much preparation.
I'm still not sure if that intro before this was in the was just
Oh,
it's
no,
part
you're
of the
not.
show.
You're
I'm
not.
sure.
You have
for
no
it.
idea.
This is so good. Oh my god.
Oh,
good.
Man.
Well,
See,
please introduce our
This is why
illustrious
we're an
guest.
actual podcast, is because I have fun hanging with you guys and laughing
True.
and then hitting record and letting the world choose if it cares. But the reason we're here today is because I have my awesome friend Micaela Kingslight in the studio.
Hey.
I'm so excited.
What's up?
Woo! I met this wonderful person while traveling through Mexico on this really cool trip that I have probably mentioned more than once on this podcast by now. And then we traveled through Mexico together for a couple of weeks with a big group of people, and
We
then
saw some pyramids.
saw a bunch of
We
pyramids.
meditated.
Yeah, a lot of meditations. We jumped in some
Sang some
lagoons.
songs.
Yeah, some temazcals, some sweat lodges, and all that good stuff. And then we went to Guatemala for a couple of weeks after that, and jamming, making music, and
Hot springing.
singing songs, going to hot springs, all that good stuff.
Hot springs are nice.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Hanging out with my buddy DMT Tree.
Yes.
Shouts out to DJ DMT Tree. We'll have him on the podcast
We love you,
when
buddy.
he's back in the actually he is back in the States
He's
now.
back.
Shouts out to DMT Tree and Dorothy.
I thought for sure that was a subtle I did drugs reference. I
We
guess
were
that's a
on
real
drugs
person.
with
Probably.
DMT Tree,
Yes.
but it was MDA.
No, that's on brand.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you
So the way we
Oh.
normally start this out
Yeah.
here is with the question, Micaela, what is your superhero origin story?
Whew.
How did you become the amazing creative that you are today?
Diddle-doo, diddle-doo, diddle-doo. Okay.
Yes.
So back in the late 80s, my parents were musicians and they were on tour basically for most of my childhood. My dad plays guitar and my mom plays flute and sings, and they also did opera. So they would like be in various operas, and then so music was just all around all the time. And so I would just crawl up to the piano and play on it, or there's this giant harp that I would get to like pluck like kind of off of the floor. And then they would always practice harmonies. So harmony ended up just becoming this like language.
I wish I could have grown up in your house. It's so tight.
It was pretty amazing. And so it was just kind of like this osmosis effect of music. And they started me playing violin when I was 3 in Suzuki. And I didn't really understand that you had to actually push your fingers down on the strings. So I was just like,
You were 3.
I was 3, so you can't really teach that right away. But the music did seep in. And so by the time I was 5, my parents were in the recording studio. And this was back when it was all tape. And, so we were doing the layers over the top of vocals, and they let me sing this part in Latin. It was like Venite Adoremos. And it was like a Christmas album they were doing. And I got to layer my voice over the top of my voice many times. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
That's dope.
And they
you already had
bribed
the
me.
harmonies dialed because you been practicing them all day.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. And they were like, whoa, how do you know how to do that? And just from listening, I guess. But my parents said if I recorded, they would give me whatever I wanted. And
Pretty good deal.
I know it was a really
that's
good
a
deal.
blank check.
And
Blank check?
Guess what I wanted? I could have asked for a pony. I could have asked for anything. I just
Something
wanted to
music
go
related.
to McDonald's and get
No.
chicken nuggets.
Wow.
Because I wasn't
You
allowed to have
should've
chicken
milked
nuggets
that.
usually.
I'm
I
not gonna
know.
lie,
Should have
you
milked that
did
for
not
at
choose
least 2
correct.
trips.
I know. There's been many
Bad
times that
choice.
I wish I had a magic.
Y'all,
Anything.
Anything.
Go to Disneyland. You're
no, I
not.
don't know. Late 80s, early 90s, McNuggets were fucking better than Gold Bars, man.
They were very
and it had
addictive.
little dipping sauces. There's so
Yep.
many sauces.
I mean,
man.
You
Did
got
they
the
pull
10-pack
in-
though, right?
Remember, you could get the little toys that
The
were the
toys.
nuggets that you could like dress up like Mr. Potato Head and
Yes.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember those.
That was fun.
Did,
It was a good
did
time.
they drive into the drive-through and then go, "Thanks for working on music with us. You can have anything you want, but check out this McDonald's."
Look at this.
menu!"
Yeah, I think maybe it was a leading. Maybe they led me into that choice.
Subtle
But yes.
reverse psychology.
So, but regardless, it spurred the magic of music for me and recording and
The Nuggets did.
the nuggets and the music.
Just like Seth Drake, you got to find the nugget,
Yes.
and then you can make music correctly. So
all of that, all of those chemicals and whatever the heck they put in those
Pink
things.
slime.
Pink
Yeah,
goo.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
pink
Yeah.
goo.
That was the fuel for my musical exploration. And then from there, I played a lot of piano. I ended up doing a lot of composing when I was 9 and did a bunch of like concerts. And then around age 10, I started playing bass guitar. And that was where everything just changed into alternative rock and
Good. Good.
classics and all of that goodness. And then I realized that I couldn't really solo on the bass guitar like I wanted to solo. And so I got an electric guitar. My dad was like, if you mow the lawn for this amount of time, I'll pay half of the electric guitar. And
These are
you
some
can
good
pay the other
deals.
half.
You're just out in the yard for 12 hours straight mowing the lawn.
It
10
was a
times
couple
over.
months. It was a couple months, and then I got this really awesome Ibanez guitar with inlays, and it was. I still have it. It's this beautiful orange flame maple.
That's amazing.
And then I started taking guitar lessons and realized that I could listen to anything and kind of figure it out. And then like after a couple of years, I started teaching my friends how to play and then teaching my friends' parents how to play. And I was like, I could do this for a living. And so basically just kind of went from there and started teaching and playing. And,
Wow. Those are two completely separate skill sets. Teach your friend.
Yeah,
Teach your friend's
friend,
parents. Those are like, wow,
Right.
you got both ends. If you could probably teach a baby at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Like a teenager is probably harder than a baby in some respects.
These are all good things to know how to do.
I'm also kind of referencing the latest South Park with that one.
I haven't
you guys
seen that
probably
one.
haven't seen
No.
it, but don't. Bruh. Thank you, Luke. Oh
yeah,
my
man, I
God,
got you.
Yes.
You know me.
Yes. Anyways,
It's been a while since I watched that, but yeah.
so
I've been on
you started
on the road.
you started teaching. I'm sure that was great. What how about your own music? How was that kind of woven into that time?
So I didn't really have songwriting classes, so I would just kind of listen to other people's music and then try to emulate what I liked. But all my songs ended up being like 6-7 minutes long.
Oh,
like
the
very,
early ones
very
always do.
soulful and very.
You need to listen to this same section again with just like a little tiny extra thing because it's so good already.
And so that was a good time. I had a little kind of, it's like a Tascam, I think, recorder with the floppy disks.
Ooh.
And that was pretty fun. And
Interesting.
It's my second
When
conversation about
what
floppy
year-ish
disks
was
Floppy
this?
disk.
today. What year are we in now?
Like 95, 90, 98.
When you said
I don't
floppy
know.
disk, I went
Those
straight to
floppy disks.
95.
Yeah,
Straight
somewhere
to
in there.
95.
Yeah, it's got to be 95.
Yeah, gotta be 95.
Yeah. Yep. And it was used, and so it was a good deal. I think we got it for like $100.
How many milliseconds of audio could one floppy disk record?
That's a good question. I remember there was a problem with that because I always had a hard time, being able to fit my super long songs on it.
God, you probably needed two floppies for one song.
Floppy discs.
Take the floppy out, put the other one in, and finish this masterpiece.
It's a concept album here.
When you gotta flip over the record for
the vinyl
side part 2 of the song.
The B-side.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yes, and then I played in some bands and
what kind of music?
Alternative rock.
Good.
Folk kind of weirdness.
What would you say your influences were in the band?
I wanted to be the female Jimi Hendrix Nirvana.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I probably would have come to see you play for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good. I mostly started playing guitar because the boys told me I couldn't. At that time. The boys in the alternative rock band. Yeah. They were like, you can't do that. You should just keep playing bass.
Literally, for certain people, that is literally like the best pinnacle motivation.
It is.
Being told you can't do it. Oh, that's great.
My whole life trajectory might have changed if they hadn't done that.
So shouts to misogyny.
Right? Yeah, shout out for that. Not really.
Nobody take that out of context.
Yeah, no. Sometimes
someone's going to clip that.
You asked me to sample your intro before that.
What you wish for.
So, what yearish was this when you picked up guitar?
Well, I was 90, 95, somewhere in there, actually.
Okay, so around that same era.
Yeah. And then I started teaching, and then I went to Dylan's Music World in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I told them that they should give me a job teaching music lessons there. And they did. And then from there, I was asked to teach for the symphony and teach for this Academy of Rock, where I taught kids how to play in bands while I was playing in a band. And at that time, I was doing a lot of like studio work. So I would just, I was recording with this band called Crossroads Music, and we would play a lot of, or Crossroads Blues Band. We were playing a lot of funk and folk blues stuff, and so we played a lot in Detroit and Chicago, and I opened for a lot of blues bands. And yeah, so basically music's been my life. It's been kind of everything. It's led me to meeting a lot of really amazing people and recording with a lot of awesome folks. So mostly like studio work. I do a lot of singing, so like my voice has been the main bread and butter through that time, like doing a lot of harmony work, like on top of other people's records, and then like soloing in the background of some like hip hop, and so like all kinds of different genres, lots of like metal even, lots of drop D on my guitar, and so it did a lot of like kind of Tool-esque type music at that time for people.
Okay.
So
yeah. Like,
just, I think it's ADHD. Like I can't really pick a genre. It's just like, oh, that sounds fun, so let's try it.
At some point though, I think anyone that's like actually knows they're good is like, I gotta play Tool and like math rock and shit that's like chime changes that like confuse everyone. Like I need to prove that I can do it. I'm not that good. But like there's a certain point at which it's like when you're learning to produce and you like get good at sound design, there's like a period of time that you forget you're writing a song and you're just like, check out this fucking cool sound. And then it's not actually that coherent melodically. Mm-hmm. But you're doing the same thing. You're math rocking for the fact that you're like, I can do this now.
Right. Now I can count this while I'm doing this other thing.
Tool is kind of like this weird exception of like really complicated and also palatable.
Still jams.
Yeah.
The Tool and a few other bands compared to some other math rock bands I've heard. As a person that's not really into math rock, I listen to Tool, I'm like, oh, but they know how to keep your head bobbing though.
Yeah.
It's like, did you notice the switch from 7/8 to 13/16? Like, nope, I just kept jamming.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I like it.
Is that Tool writes songs in the length that anyone would when they're a beginner.
Right.
And like repeats sections forever. And like somehow you're just not really
Not
ever
somehow,
bored of it.
because
it
Fibonacci
kinda works
sequence,
somehow.
bro.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, you're
1.618.
staring at Alex Gray art the whole time, so like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you know, you got layers on layers.
Yeah, Tool's a special band, man.
Mm-hmm.
No one like quite does what they do.
No.
So Micaela, who are some of your favorite bands growing up?
Favorite bands? I mean, just so many. Like, definitely like the greats, Pink Floyd and Jimi Hendrix, and I was into like all those things, you know, Janis Joplin, and like, you know, what my parents were really into in the 60s and 70s. But then got into like Smashing Pumpkins, and then hated them, and then liked them again. And you know, it's like a love-hate relationship with Billy Corgan's voice.
Right. Yeah. It does. Yeah. It is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, oh gosh, like just so many. It's hard to.
You know what's funny about Billy
into
Corgan's voice? Like whoever mixes their records, like doesn't understand that like his two different tones are very distinct and need separate processing.
Right.
Because like the one tone where he's like screaming, like like really gritty, you can always hear those. And then every other take besides those and that tone, you can't hear it all. You're like you got your ear to the speaker and you like can't hear what he's saying at all. And I've never understood why they mix the records like that. But now being decent at audio engineering myself, I've always found that to be so frustrating. Because like you understood to make half of it intelligible, but you forgot the other half. Like is it a conscious choice? I don't know. I just want to talk to that guy.
Billy, if you're listening, hire
not
a
Billy's
boy.
fault.
Maybe you need to remaster.
Yeah.
It was always
Billy
kind of,
doesn't
there was a
wanna
lot of
listen to my
highs, like
references.
too much trouble, just a lot of trouble in there. But yeah, I was really into Tool for a while. I was really into like other metal, a lot of strange, whatever I could get my hands on.
Strange metal.
Like the sword, like some of those, like just like really avant-garde. And then got into like Nine Inch Nails. But then, you know, being in the music world, teaching, I really had to get into jazz as well to like really learn my music theory so I can actually like teach what I was, you know, going through, and to try to get the students I was teaching that were in jazz band to actually be able to learn something. And so I kind of taught myself jazz and taught myself a lot of things. But yeah, I have like learning disabilities. And so it's really hard for me to learn from others. Like I have to teach myself and then teach others, and then it sticks. It's like this really weird thing. And so through teaching, I've learned pretty much everything I know about music, and some classes. Like I took some lessons, but not a full degree or anything in music.
So nowadays, do you have a music project that you release with, or a band that you play with currently that is on Spotify? Or
yeah, so I am on Spotify under my name, Micaela Kingslight, and you know, it's always a challenge being a self-release, you know, independent musician, because I have this certain like what it should sound like in my head, and like I wanted to put in all these electronic things and like these interesting, tasty bits, and then I ended up hiring a producer that was close by that I trusted, and it kind of ended up sounding like a classic rock album again. From like I've written 5 original albums with this other band called Flypaper that I toured with for 8 years. And it kind of just all sounded like a classic rock album, which is not bad, but it wasn't exactly what I was going for. And so now my new project, I've been learning Logic and learning producing, and working on like for learning from this guy. Hopefully this week we're gonna be doing some rad collabs.
Good one to learn from.
Yeah.
Good one to learn from for
sure.
Oh, wow,
so kind of reinventing a lot of things now after touring for so long and being with a lot of bands. Like I want to get to the point where I can show up with just my rig and play, or like invite someone, but not necessarily rely on like a whole band anymore. But I do have another band called Three Wheels Turning, and that is 3-part harmonies with these 2 badass women that I play with that are both really awesome guitar players and all other kinds of instruments, drums and bass and piano and mandolin. Like they play everything. And I'm
really excited to get to see y'all play and play with y'all at Heart Expansion Fest
Heart
in
Expansion,
August.
3 Wheels Turning.
And Luke Rain DJing.
Heck yeah.
Hey,
and we're releasing
Are you the
album.
token DJ?
We got a few of us.
Yeah,
DMT Trees playing.
Yes.
Oh, good.
There'll be a lot of cacao.
Yeah.
A lot of
cacao
there.
At that festival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can check them out on Instagram, 3 Wheels Turning on Instagram. Sick. And we've got some videos, but we don't have a Spotify yet, but we will soon, hopefully.
Yeah. I always think that it's kind of funny how like there's sometimes like your favorite local band, or not even local band, but it's like your favorite musician that you saw that you didn't know before. Like some people are just amazing musicians, and then like you never find their stuff online. And then there's like the other half that are like never leave their house and make a lot of music you can find online.
You gotta have a balance.
It's I mean, I guess that's probably why there's not a whole lot of people that do both at because they're different skill sets. It takes a lot of time to get good at either, much less make interesting music that people haven't heard before. Yeah.
I'm just really enjoying collaborations, like, because for the longest time I just thought I had to do everything on my own. I had to record everything on my own, get everything, like all the artwork myself, like do all the tours myself, and I just got super burnt out. So yeah, I'm like all open to just collaborations and sharing, and my favorite thing's harmonies. So just like singing harmonies with people and riffing is like the thing that makes me the most joyful.
So
yeah,
so important to follow that joy in music.
Exactly.
I think when we're learning, I know this has happened to me, I'll speak for myself, when I'm learning like harder skills like production and engineering and stuff, sometimes I've like really gotten into the weeds and down the rabbit hole with it, where I'm, focused so much on the technicality of music that I forget that it's called playing music. Like it's supposed to be fun. It's about dancing, remember? So lately, like focusing more on DJing and dancing has been really dope for me to like bring that joy back around. And it sounds like collaboration's what's doing it for you right now.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who are you collaborating with? Who are you excited to collaborate with?
Well, I've just been singing a lot with my friend Andy Fisher-Price, who is an amazing songwriter, and we've been singing harmonies. We had a little bonfire the other day for his birthday party, and we did some 4-part harmonies with these 2 other guys that are also amazing singers, musicians. And so that kind of thing, just really just enjoying singing. And I do this program called vocal yoga. So I teach people how to sing, and it's so nice to like be able to sing with these people that already have it like really figured out and dialed in, and we can just be
so this class is not for me, huh?
Let's do this for no.
The vocal yoga
is for anyone. But like, joking. Yeah, collaborating with these guys that don't have like the big egos where they're just like, we have to show how good we are. They're like, here, come over here. I would love to hear your guitar. Let me plug your guitar into this amplifier so I can hear you solo. And it's so refreshing. Things like that, where it's just like really, really good vibes, really good people. And I've been kind of toying with this program, or not program. It's it's like a social media for musicians, Vamper. Have you heard of this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you had success on it?
I've met a few really cool producers. I was talking to somebody in Kansas City the other day, and a couple people in Seattle and Tacoma that have some cool projects that I might sing on and play some guitar on. So yeah, just going where the vibe leads, I guess.
So what's been inspiring you from like the production side? What have you been kind of learning lately? Where's your head kind of at with that? Who are you looking up to?
Yeah, I've been traveling for 3 months. I literally just got back from Guatemala and Colombia and Mexico. And so, but I've been listening to a lot of music and listening to a lot of DJs and other folks that do their own production. So, I mean, this guy for sure.
Of course.
Luke Rain.
Naturally.
And then I've been listening a lot to Yaima. I just went to the Yaima show the other day at Nectar and really just enjoying the combination of the electronic with the just beautiful vocals, and been inspired by that a lot. So in my own studio, I've been doing a lot with Logic. So I started following Produce Like a Boss. There's this, I think her name's Kat. She's from LA and she does this really awesome program. And so I've been learning from her and just kind of teaching myself. Like I said, it's the best way for me to learn. And then, once there's a lesson, then I do it myself. And then like listening to TV. So I'll listen to like, what's the sound on this TV show, like for this particular episode, and how did they incorporate it in with the scene? And then how can I emulate something similar? And then I'll just try to get the palette of that particular sound and then just put that in like as close as I can get with the Logic instruments or like plugins I have. And then
is that for like because you want to do sync licensing or purely just out like a creative
I do
effort?
want to do sync licensing.
Okay.
So I'm learning a lot about that and the business side of that, which is super complex. But the ultimate goal is I want to have just a library, and me and my friend Camellia Jade of Camellia Jade Sounds, we want to make a record label for the Pacific Northwest, specifically for the Olympic Peninsula, called Edge of Earth Records. And
cool name.
Yeah, and so we want to just kind of just have a library we can shop, so we could have like other people on there that want to be on it and shop like to different TV, movies, radio.
Is it only for musicians that are also flat earthers?
That's a good question. No, definitely not.
Of course not. So it just in this short conversation so far, I've definitely understood the fact that you have done pretty much every facet of music at this point and have gotten at least some experience or pro level experience in many of them. What are some things that you've kind of picked up along the way in the process of either learning or like getting good at any of these facets that that might be I know this is a really tough question.
No, that's a good question for sure. My problem is that I am so interested in so many different things that I don't feel like I'm a master at anything, but I can kind of like figure out most elements over time.
But there's a huge skill in that figuring out, right? Like someone that's like trained guitar their whole life, but never like tried to figure out another thing, like probably couldn't do it.
Yeah.
There's that phrase that we hear all the time, jack of trades and master of none, and it's used derisively. But I learned that the entire phrase is jack of all trades and a master of none is still always better than a master of one.
Ah, thank you. That makes me feel better about that.
Right?
Because, I mean, guitar definitely has been my main thing. You know, I feel like that's the instrument that is synced up with my soul. Like I can sing and be able to figure out any of the notes and like play anything I hear at this point. But like, I don't know. It's, I feel like with the production, I'm just getting started, and sometimes it's hard to feel like that blank slate of like, oh, I really want to make this sound, and I don't know how to do it, and I don't know who to talk to show me how to make this sound.
Yeah.
Welcome to all of our lives.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, learning production is a lot like learning every facet of the music process.
Yes.
If you were starting from zero and wanted to learn how to produce music,
Mm-hmm.
you have a huge road in front of you, because not only do you have to learn how music works, how to make good music, play good music, or understand how to write it, then also do all the other technical computer stuff. And you at least have the hard part down already, right? So it's like your ability to figure things out and pluck around and make it work is much the same in production. You got to get in there and twist the knobs and break stuff, and eventually you'll figure it out. But when you go to play stuff in or sing stuff into the DAW, luckily it'll already sound good. That's not going to be too hard.
Yeah.
There's like a hierarchy to music production importance. Like the recording can only be good as good as the song is written. True. And the production can only be as good as the recording is. And the mix can only be good as the production, and the master can only be good as the mix. So like, you can be the best mastering engineer, but like have a crap song come across your table. You can only do so much with it.
Exactly.
But like, if you have an amazingly well-written song that's recorded dope, you can do almost nothing to the production and people will still love it.
The rest doesn't matter.
Yeah, right? It's like, you know what? I'm just going to leave everything dry. Fuck it. Just... It's loud enough, probably. Let's show it to people. And people are like, this is amazing. You know, it's order of importance is important to keep in mind with that, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely like a pitfall that a lot of people learning production forget about, is that like the math equation of audio engineering is like, you know, you should, like, at least when I was learning how to like engineer a record to sound good, in my head I was like, oh, this is just like book learning almost. Like, as soon as I know how to do all the things and how all the tools work, like it should be A to B, simple. And then somewhere along the line, I think a lot of people have that same like drive to get good at that portion of production, and then forget that they also have to write a song that people want to listen to. And so it's like the shiny, attractive, like science-based, like right, wrong, like this makes it sound better type stuff is like more attractive because it's not a subjective field, right? Like in some ways, like it still is like, does this mix sound better than this mix? Like for the most part, like I think most people would be able to tell, like beginner or amateur, like this sounds better to me and this sounds worse. But like a good song versus a bad song, like an audience might be completely split on a separate batch of songs, right? So it's definitely more attractive to learn that stuff that has more of a right answer. And then, yeah, like I said, you forget that you also need to learn how to write songs that people give a shit about if you're going to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So
otherwise it's just producer-bation.
It is like that sound design rabbit hole that I was talking about. That's exactly that.
Yeah, I think we all been there, and that's just kind of part of being a modern musician. I think it's just wearing all the hats that comes with it nowadays. But like,
definitely,
yeah, I mean, I think it's most important that you have the songwriting background down, because like he said,
I don't know if I have it down, but it's
what do you mean? You've written 5 albums.
I know that you have it down.
Jeez.
Say down, but
yeah, I mean, you've written 5 albums worth. You said, right? I'm curious to hear. Sorry,
for that one project, 5 albums from that one specific band.
Damn.
Whole life of music.
So one thing I'm curious to hear from your perspective, is there any like prominent songwriting things that you've learned, or any like even if it comes down to like vocals or just any like prominent albums or projects you've worked on over time where you just had like a big realization or you learned something that stuck with you? Any you know, an album, 2, 3, anything that's like have been significant milestones in your journey?
Oh gosh. Well, trying not to think about it really is the key. Trying not to think about, you know, making a song that's going to be a specific genre, because a lot of times what comes through is like, it's like a meditation process for me. Like I have to have kind of this like non-chaotic place to write in, or like in the forest, or like, so for some reason, like sitting on the floor with the couch behind me is a good place. I don't know. You learn over time where the songs like to come to you, and then it's more like catching songs. It's like I'm putting a fishing line out there in the universe, and I'm like, okay, I'm listening, and then I'll play my guitar and just try to like find something that like really just hits my heart, or just really feels potent in some way, and then just being an open channel, being open for whatever to come through and trying to get out of the way. Because whenever I'm like, oh, I got to write this specific song for this specific thing, and I'm like thinking about it too much, it just ends up sounding forced.
It's such good advice. Like, I can't tell you how many good songs I've ruined by like, but your style is this, and like, right. But you wanted to write this today, and like all of a sudden this good thing you had going, then you start like chipping it down into bad again. Like, yes. What are you doing?
That's why sync licensing is so important, or it's like it's so much more fun to me, because I'm like, I just got that. It's so much more fun in a way, because I don't have to think of a specific genre that I'm playing. You know, I'm not trying to be on like, what does Micaela Kingslight sound like? I can just be like, oh, I'm just playing with this palette right now, and it's changed kind of everything in my songwriting. Because for so long I was like, a lot of I had a little record label for a while, and they were like, you have to sound like this, and you have to wear this tight skirt and high heels, and it was horrible. And so I was just like, everything in me rebelled and just wanted to just make whatever kind of music comes through. And so that really helps a lot, to not have to be writing for any specific goal or style in mind.
I totally feel you on that. Back in the day, right around the time I quit rapping, I had completely lost like my kind of my inspiration to write beats, because all I would let myself write were very specific niche of hip hop beat that I had for this concept of the sound of the EP. And I was like, any other idea, I got to be like, no, don't write that. I got to go over here. And everything shut off. And then as soon as I was like, okay, fuck that EP, it doesn't exist anymore. Then all of a sudden my brain was like, let's make a house song. Let's do an R&B song. Let's try dubstep. And, you know, then all of a sudden there was no writer's block, because I had full freedom. Yes. And then moving forward in my life, what that looks like today is, the other night I sat down like, you know what? I'm kind of in the mood to write something. I think I'm going to write like a chill out, like little ambient vibe, something to like play at the beginning of an ecstatic dance. And I sat down and I grabbed a patch on my microcorg and I hit the key, and I was like, ooh, that's grimy. And all of a sudden I'm making a bass remix of Lil Wayne's Go DJ. Yeah, that's my DJ. And that shit's hot. So good. I'm glad I fucking took the hard left.
Yeah, you gotta send that shit.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I played it at my friend's birthday party on Friday night. It went over well.
Nice.
Yeah. So cool. One thing I wanted to circle back, unless you got something else, Tesco.
I was just going to ask a bit about how you guys met, if you guys have worked on any music.
Yeah.
How the trip was.
Well, we met after I took a red-eye flight to Mexico, didn't sleep all night, and showed up at this Airbnb in Mexico City and got introduced to this wonderful person right here. And then we went and got coffees and went to a museum, and but pretty much the first interaction we ever had was me singing you a song I had just wrote called Turn the Dial.
That's right.
And I was driving my big rickety work van back from dumping off garbage from a job at the dump, and this song, I just caught this song and just had to pull out my voice recorder and sing it. And then like a couple of days later, I'm in Mexico. I'm like, yo, I'm just really excited about this song. It's like in my head while I was trying to sleep on the flight, and I sang it, and she's like, ooh, I want to do guitar chords to that.
Yeah. Well, I heard you coming up the stairs. I was like, what is the sound coming up the stairs? It was like this big echoey building.
So funny.
Hadn't met him yet. And he walks in. I'm like, who is this human singing this awesome song? I could immediately hear like guitar chords to it. And then, but it took like the whole journey.
Like an actual whole month.
Yeah,
it was
whole
like
month.
4 actual weeks between the decision to make those guitar chords happen and the day that we did it at these magical hot springs
at the
sitting
top
in the
of a
sunshine
mountain
on top of a mountain in Guatemala
with fractal birds making sounds around us.
Sounds worth the wait.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. And then we were singing it for Dimitri and Dorothy, DMT Tree and his lady Dorothy, who do ecstatic dance and cacao ceremony combos, which are incredible. They're on tour right now, coming to a city near you if you live on the West Coast. And then she was like, Dorothy was like, yo, we're doing a cacao ceremony tomorrow. Let's perform that in the opening circle. And okay, let's do it. And then we're like on a boat on Lake Atitlan the next day, riding across the lake to where this cacao ceremony and ecstatic dance is. And she's like, I just got an idea for a verse 2. And we like wrote verse 2 of this tune and then like performed it live for the first time like an hour later and taught it to everybody at the ceremony. And then, you guys were jamming that song all around.
I've jammed it all across Guatemala and Colombia and played it with song circles. I love doing song circles. So like teaching people songs and having them sing along is also a joy. And so it's been a good theme.
Yeah. And then speaking of song circles, we were at one on Saturday from our friend Sarah's birthday. Shouts out Sarah Connor. We'll have her on the podcast soon. She's that song I showed you guys. She's the singer on that song.
Oh, dope.
Yeah. Right. And so we were having a song circle for her birthday, and Micaela brought her guitar, and so we got to perform it together and sing it for everybody.
Oh, so you guys have toured this song all over the world already.
Yeah, right? It's not even recorded except for on people's phones.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully this week.
That is one of my main goals for our studio sessions this week.
Do you have a guitar in your studio?
I do. I have a guitar. It needs new strings.
What are the odds you play that song right now?
Is it an electric guitar or acoustic guitar?
It is an acoustic guitar that needs strings.
It has no strings. All right. Well,
I brought my guitar.
I was going to say you should acapella jam it.
You should.
Yeah. I'll do the mouth bass.
If you have a guitar, you should grab it and play it. First live song ever put into this podcast.
Oh, you want me to?
Let's do it. Why not?
I think you should.
Dude, all right.
All right, you grab the guitar. We'll fill time.
Okay.
Damn, another first.
Wow,
You're plus in. We can do anything.
Exactly.
Anything.
And another fun thing that we did is when we were in Guatemala, we got invited to do a house concert at these wonderful folks' house. And they like cooked us dinner, and then we jammed music in their living room for like an hour, and I just impromptu was the percussion accompaniment on this set.
Oh yeah,
it was a really, really good time. Shouts out to Josh for setting that up. Josue. And shouts out to the homies. Boy howdy, I'm slipping on it right now. Yeah, let me
Wow, that's a cool coffee shop name.
Yeah.
Boy howdy, I'm slipping on it.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Like banana peel. Yeah, they opened like this amazing coffee shop in their little town that really didn't have anything like that. It's really cool.
We helped to paint it.
Yeah, we did some painting and staining and bought them some plants for their patio.
So you sent me a picture. Yes. All right, cool. So let me just.
You got a picture of the plants?
Yeah, I did. I'll send it to you.
Already in tune and everything. Wow.
Okay. Woo. Capo 2.
Mm-hmm. The song's called Turn the Dial.
I feel like I'm like, oh my god, amazing.
Turn the dial to the right. On the radio in your mind, there's a higher frequency up there waiting for you to find. Turn the dial to the right. On the radio in your mind, there's a higher frequency up there waiting for you to find.
Now you gotta do the heart though.
Turn the dial to the right. On the radio in your heart, there's a higher frequency up there, and you can be a part of all this love. Turn
I want to be a part
dial
of it.
to the right.
Soul? Remember that one?
Yeah. On the radio in your soul, there's a higher frequency up there,
Reminding you that you're whole. We just wrote that one
Wrote
on
that the
Saturday
other
with the homies.
Good.
Turn the dial to the right. And back to the mind.
on the radio in your mind. There's a higher frequency up there waiting for you to find.
Bow, bow, ba ba down, bow.
Wow. Just,
Oh, why? Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
that
That was beautiful.
was actually really good.
My headphones decided to leave my head during that. There we go. Hi.
Usual. I picked up that you just never
Okay, buddy.
you just never turn the dial to the left. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we
you
actually
can't- you
had
don't
that
wanna turn it back
exact
down.
discussion
No, yeah.
on the
A
boat when we were
volume
writing
only
that
goes
heart
up.
verse. And I was like, oh, what if we did turn the dial to the left? And I was like, well, think about how an old radio works, though. Like a really old radio. Like, oh, right, yeah, you turn it. That's the lower frequency. We don't want.
that's-
We were already there. We're
Yeah.
leaving that behind.
Well, you
Not
could
the
do
high
like
frequency.
you could do a funny bridge. It's like turn the dial to the left. Wait,
To the
don't do
left,
that.
to the
Don't do
And
that.
then, like,
If you wanna go back down,
Yeah. Get dirty with it.
right? I don't know.
mm,
You have a choice.
that was great.
Yeah, I like the song.
I really did not
The
expect
little
that.
hee hee.
Yeah,
That part's so catchy in the melody.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like-
like the real money moment every time you guys came around to that. I was just
Oh, yeah,
waiting
it
for that
sounds
little hee
beautiful.
hee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like I said, that song just like, I don't feel like I wrote it as much as I caught it. Like I was listening to a podcast and somebody was like, yeah, you know, so you got to raise your vibration, raise your frequency. And then just like the whole song just, I want to be in the world. Okay, yes. Yes, I got
Come
you.
on,
I have a
dude.
voice recorder for this purpose.
Yes.
Shouts out to
That's
Isotope
awesome.
Spire, my favorite
Oh yeah.
my favorite voice notes app because you can do multi-track recording up to 8 tracks on a
Sponsor
free
us.
voice recorder. I know, right? Sponsor us, Isotope. Maybe I should go to NAM again and try and get podcast sponsors.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I mean, we
I
should
don't
all
think-
meet down there.
Amen.
Yes. I don't think we're gonna do anything in this podcast that's gonna be cooler than that. I'm just gonna be dead honest.
All right.
Yeah, first live concert. I mean, shit.
All right. Then we could put a bow on it with, hey, Micaela, tell humans how to find you on the internet.
Oh yes. You can find me on all the platforms under my name, Micaela Kingslight. If you just type in Kings and Light, like a king with a light, you'll find me on all the things.
And then
But
on the Instagrams,
The Instagram is Light Mica.
MICA, after the regular way you spell light, when
Yes.
it's something you can see and not a diet soda.
Indeed. Thank you for that clarification.
No aspartame in the name.
No.
Naturally sweet.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard someone rhyme with aspartame. Good job.
Woo!
It's those rap skills.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Put it
got,
into
he's
good
got
use.
books full of them. He's got books full.
Yeah, they're right here in his box. Box of books.
Oh,
Woo!
That's
Shout out the
rhymes.
Box of Books.
Box of books.
Box of Books, sponsored by Box of Books.
Yeah.
You can't buy it. Make your own, loser.
Too bad the NFT wave is over.
Right. Oh, so sad.
Cool with it.
Yeah, so fun.
Well, any parting advice before we do our cheeky send off?
Oh, keep making music that gives you joy.
Perfect.
Facts.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Perfect.
Do it.
All right, and then the way we sign this off, you're going to do this with us. We give everybody a peace. And a peace among worlds, Morty.
Yes.
Peace,
Bye-bye.
humans.
Bye.
Woo, I like it. All right, humans. Thank you so much for being here with us. We truly appreciate you. That song of the week you're listening to that we want you to go run up is Micaela Kingslight, My Way Home. You can listen to that on the Human Music Podcast Song of the Week Spotify playlist, and we have links to go directly to that song on your favorite streaming site as well. Then you can support our sponsors while you're down there clicking on that. Dojo TV, that's free producer live stream classes from the Dojo Senseis. Tesco's Patreon, where you can get access to his Discord, track feedback, private lessons, and much more. The weekly download, where you can learn from Bill Gates and his private weekly group lessons and get access to over 250 more episodes in the archive for just $20 a month. It's probably almost 300 by now, to tell you the truth. Guest Practices is the last one. We can learn from Seth Drake at the Approach Institute. He is actually the best engineer we know. Your first class is free, and the whole program is way more helpful and insanely less expensive than traditional music engineering school. Highly recommend the Approach Institute. Now, check us out on thehumanmusicpodcast.com to get to our socials and our other streaming sites. And, just our socials are at The Human Music Podcast on Instagram and at Human Music Pod on Twitter. All right, humans, until next week, peace and peace among worlds.